Every leaf, every shell, every branching tree follows a silent logic. Long before humans wrote numbers on stone or paper, nature was already calculating growth, balance, and survival, using patterns that repeat from cells to galaxies. Welcome to Mattermosaic, piecing together the universe, one discovery at a time. Today, we're exploring the hidden code of nature and how mathematics shapes life and growth across the living world. The relationship between mathematics and life did not begin in a laboratory. It began in observation. Around 300 BCE in Alexandria, Greek mathematicians such as Euclid formalized geometry by studying shapes found in nature, from circles to spirals. At the same time, Aristotle documented plant and animal forms, noting recurring structures that hinted at underlying rules. These early observations planted the idea that nature might follow mathematical order rather than chaos. Centuries later, in 1202, the Italian mathematician Leonardo of Pisa, now known as Fibonacci, published Liber Abaci. In this book, Fibonacci introduced a numerical sequence that begins with 0 and 1, where each number is the sum of the two before it. Although Fibonacci did not apply the sequence to biology himself, its significance emerged much later. In the 19th century, botanists studying plant growth in Europe noticed that the arrangement of leaves, petals, and seeds often followed Fibonacci numbers. Sunflower seed spirals, pine cones, and pineapples displayed paired spirals that consistently matched ratios derived from the sequence. This phenomenon became known as phyllotaxis, the study of how plants arrange their leaves and seeds. Research conducted in the 19th and 20th centuries showed that these arrangements minimize overlap and maximize exposure to sunlight and rain. The mathematics was not decorative, it was functional. Plants that followed these patterns had higher efficiency and survival rates, reinforcing the role of mathematical optimization through natural selection. Another mathematical structure repeatedly found in living systems is the logarithmic spiral. Unlike a simple spiral, a logarithmic spiral grows outward while maintaining its shape. This form appears in nautilus shells, ammonite fossils, hurricanes, and even spiral galaxies. In biological organisms, the spiral allows growth without changing proportions. As a mollusk grows, its shell expands while preserving structural integrity. Paleontological evidence from fossil records dating back over 400 million years confirms that this growth strategy has remained stable across vast evolutionary timescales. In the 17th century, Johannes Kepler, working in Prague, explored these spirals while studying planetary motion. Although his focus was astronomy, Kepler noted that the same geometric relationships appeared in plants and shells. This cross-disciplinary insight strengthened the idea that mathematics is not confined to human invention, but embedded in natural processes. The branching patterns of trees, blood vessels, and lungs reveal another layer of mathematical structure. These systems follow principles later formalized through fractal geometry. In the 20th century, mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot, working at IBM in the 1970s, introduced the term fractal to describe shapes that repeat similar patterns at different scales. Long before Mandelbrot, however, nature had already been using fractal branching to solve a fundamental problem. How do you efficiently transport resources through space? In trees, fractal branching maximizes access to sunlight while minimizing the energy required to build and maintain branches. In the human body, the bronchial tree in the lungs increases surface area for oxygen exchange within the limited volume of the chest cavity. Medical imaging and anatomical studies conducted in the 20th century confirmed that these branching ratios follow predictable mathematical relationships rather than random growth. Mathematics also governs how populations grow and stabilize. In 1798, English scholar Thomas Malthus proposed that populations grow exponentially until constrained by resources. This idea later influenced Charles Darwin during the development of evolutionary theory. In the 20th century, biologists refined these models using differential equations to describe predator-prey dynamics. The Lotka-Volterra equations, independently developed by Alfred Lotka in the United States and Vito Volterra in Italy during the 1920s, mathematically demonstrated how population sizes oscillate in response to food availability and predation. These equations were tested against real ecological data, including studies of lynx and hare populations in Canada using records from the Hudson's Bay Company. The match between mathematical prediction and biological observation reinforced the idea that living systems follow quantifiable rules shaped by energy flow and competition. Patterns also emerge at the microscopic level. In the early 20th century, British mathematician Alan Turing, working in Manchester, proposed a mathematical model explaining how patterns such as stripes and spots form in animals. Published in 1952, Turing's reaction diffusion theory described how interacting chemical substances could create stable patterns through simple equations. Decades later, experimental biology confirmed these mechanisms in animal development, including pigmentation patterns in fish and mammals. Turing's work demonstrated that complex biological designs can emerge from simple, mathematical interactions without a central controller. Order arises not from intention, but from rule-based processes acting over time. Even growth at the cellular level follows mathematical constraints. The rate at which cells divide, the way tissues fold, and the limits of organism size are governed by geometry and physics. In the 1920s, biologist D'Arcy Wentworth Thompson published On Growth and Form, a landmark work connecting biology to mathematics and mechanics. Thompson argued that physical forces and mathematical principles shape organisms as much as genetic information does. His work influenced generations of scientists and remains foundational in modern developmental biology. Mathematics in nature does not imply that life is mechanical or predetermined. Instead, it reveals how evolution repeatedly discovers efficient solutions within physical limits. Natural selection does not invent equations, but it favors forms that obey them. The patterns we observe are the result of countless trials across millions of years, filtered by survival and efficiency. When humans recognize these patterns, we are not imposing order on nature. We are uncovering rules that were already there. From spirals to branches, from populations to pigmentation, mathematics acts as a quiet framework guiding growth without awareness or intention. Life does not calculate, yet it grows as if it understands the language of numbers. This is Mattermosaic, piecing together the universe one discovery at a time. If this exploration sparked your curiosity, tap like, share it with someone who loves science, and let us know what you want to uncover next. Subscribe for more weekly journeys across the fabric of reality.